especially in the first reading, we have 2 points. The first is that each and every one of us has a mission as we live in this world. We have a special mission from God. And this mission sets the base of our being, of our existence in this world this time. And this purpose that God set sometimes cannot be seen easily by us, by our human experience. But it is like a seed that always develops towards the reason for our existence. And it is only needs the divine wisdom for us to identify that why we are living in this world. We are living because we are called to life. We are called for a special mission in this world. Sometimes we may quite influence this mission, this purpose, this mission. But always God's call and God's purpose will always prosper. That's why sometimes when we misjudge, especially those who are the parents, sometimes we may think that this child is destined to become a doctor or to become an engineer. But what exactly God intends for this child, which is really his mission or her mission, will always prove different. And when it happens, sometimes it is a discouragement. But today we are reminded that through the choice of David, we are reminded that God is the only one who knows why He gives us different missions. As we have seen from the children of Jesse, the long line, from among the children, some are tall, some are handsome, some were really predicted to be having qualities to become kings. But God proved them different. God proved them wrong by saying, no, don't look at the appearance. Because God always see and look at the interior. Because it is in the interior that He has planted the seed of His mission in every human person. That's why He rejected all the children, beginning from Aya, Samar, and all the rest. And the choice fell on David, who was very young, fragile, and was in the field. And God decided to say, this is the one, anoint him. If I can still remember, when we came down from Khartoum in 1994, and we were putting up here in Qatar, my paternal uncle decided to say, hey, from these children, I think this one should be sent to the seminar. And he came and approached that time Father Anania and sent my brother, my younger brother, to the seminar. Because for him, he looked like a priest. But at the end, I also, from my own way, I went and joined the seminar. So we started the mission together. But at a certain time, the one who was chosen and even was recommended by the family to the priest, that time was Father Anania. They don't make it even to the theology. At a certain time in the middle, they say, no, this is not his call. His call is to be an engineer or an electrician. And he went and left the seminar. Me, who was not seen as a priest, I continued. And now today, I am a priest, not because of the family choice, but because God really planted that seed in me. And this can happen also in all the families. Sometimes when the child decides that he wants to become a sister, In some tribes and in some families, it is like an offense. And we say, no, what for? You are supposed to become a doctor. You don't know who created this child, who created this guy. It is the one who created him who has an influence, who has the decision to decide the destiny of this child. And most of the time, in vocation, it is a bit difficult. And you, the parents here, you are now being challenged by what happened in the family of Jesse. Let us get to be enlightened and always prioritize what God wants, because we cannot change what God has decided. Even if how much we struggle, sometimes even in social life, you find men who struggle really to put rings in their ears and try to imitate and want to be like women, but they will not, because God really created them to be what they are. God created them to be men, to be made, and they cannot change. And also there are some ladies who will struggle always, want to present themselves like male beings. They don't want to play their hair. They want to wear trousers every day, and even the shoes of men. But God will say always, the purpose to which I chose you is not to become men, like to be a male, but to be, sometimes to be a mother or to be a housewife. That one cannot be changed. So that's why we have to know that in each and every one of us there is a seed planted by God, which is the reason for our existence and the base of our mission. In the Gospel, we have seen the opposition of the Pharisees against the disciples of Jesus. Because the Pharisees are looking not on the priorities, but they look on the laws that are not serving the people. That's why we were so keen to see the disciples of Jesus picking the grains of corn. And they say that it is against the Sabbath, because Sabbath is supposed to be the day of rest as given to us in the book of Genesis. And the Jews took it as a principle, meaning that if they keep it only like that will help them to enter the kingdom of heaven. But they never knew what was in the mind of Jesus, that what is saving life must be prioritized. What is helpful for human beings must take credit precedence. And feeding or food is one of the basic needs that also given to us by God as a means of survival. If anyone goes to hunger and strike, this person actually is against life and will be judged in the way that someone who has killed himself or herself. That is why if we eat food, we enjoy it. In the process of enjoying this food, we save life. So that is why Jesus is saying, what is important? To save life or to destroy it? And he quoted David. He quoted David when he went and ate the laws that are reserved for the priesthood. The issue is not that because these people were not ordained, but the issue is that because they were hungry and they have to save life. So the Pharisees were told like that. Most of the time we are also like that. We want to follow the rules closely and we want to judge people because of these rules. When we see someone doing something, we say no. Especially most of the time when the person is a religious or a priest and you happen to see him in a certain place, you say, Father, are you also coming here? Let's see if these locations are not divided. Some are for people who are not priests, some are not for sisters, some places are only for married people and other places. But the issue is why? Why is that person in that place? It's the question that needs to be answered, and so that we don't misjudge, because sometimes our perception is limited and it influences our judgment and sometimes our choices. Akwai da wata filmasi, kalam da ke figura da dalila indina ligat ina sanin shayar da indu. دائما قال في الحياه بتاعتنا مصدر من الحياه بتاعتنا هو انسانيه، لانه ربنا زرع فينا بذرة الكاس أن بكم سبب وأساس بتاع وجود بتاعنا في الدنيا للإنسانية للشغل بتاعنا. مرات كتير ما بنشوف حاجات ربنا ودي لنا عشان للمستقبل بتاع الشعب بتاعنا أو للإنسانية. يا رب مرات بنكون بحكم بطريقة غلط. مرات مرات إبليس بيعمل بتاعنا لأن ما فاهمين إنه ربنا عنده اختيار بتوعها. عشان كده في جيراني براواحد الناس ما في اختيار بتعتبر من بين الأقوام بتاعه والسبب هو يا أخي الجنة، لكنه كذلك تقول من أسرة الجسد ربنا كان يختار ديفيد، وديفيد يعصى كل الآن القوانين محدودة أجل ما يختارونه لأن ربنا ما زال سير بتاعه بتقيادة في ناس الثانية ولكن في الدرب. بعد مرة كنا في الأسرة كمان نقول من المحركات زي تحكيم زي القرار أن بيكلم قال جنا ده كان في جنا نكاين مسكين كنا قال جنا ده يا بتاع الله كنا جنا ده دي قال ده يا بتاع سيستم. ومرات كتير حكم بتاعنا يكون قال لأن أنا ما أعرف أن يكون مثلا جنا يا شو كده كان ناس وجنا كده في سيمنا ولا في كونفن بعد مرة هما بيكالس جنا بيكالس كده جنا ده بيكون كان سكر وزول بكسرات جنا ده كان ربنا سي معروف جنا ده لكن ما كان جنا ده ربنا سأله فيه بيجوا يكون بتاع أستاذ أو دكتور. عشان كده كان في choice جنا بيختار سكة ثانية كده لما نجيب في إشارة بتاعه كده نتكلم على ربنا كان ده أو يختار اختيار فاتلو سكة لأن هذا في السبب أما ربنا بيختار منا أكن نقول نينا عندنا ميشن عندنا إنسانية أما ربنا مدينا أصلا بيوصل بتاع بيسمع وزارة ولا ملكوت بتاعه بيتحدث والناس أكثر جاي. عشان كده دائما إنسان دائما ينظر في صفات المرء، لكن ربنا بعينه في الجنة يهو عينه في الجنة بتاع دفء ويختار دفء. في جيل نسيبنا في تاريخ من يسوع المسيح مفرزين نار فرزين ناس ما بيختم بكلام التدريس لكنهم بيختم بس مهاجات التانيين من هو مكاتب من يسوع المسيح لأنه لو مدرائي عن يسوع المسيح زول عادل وزول حقيقة عشان كده بيتابعوا كل إيه يتكاسل فرم كاسل وإنك ما في مكمل إلى ناس الفرزين زي البس مبادئ في هذا البس مبادئ في نجاح الزول ولكن باين في ذكر الزول بعمل ومن بيجيبوا باين لأن شكر بتاعه هو شكر بيت بتاعه في الشكر. عشان كده كده يسوع المسيح ماشي في الإنسانية وماشي في الدفع في ذاك الزراعة والشعب بتوعه تلاميذ بتوعه هذا شيء من منظر الشريف ده كان يوم الأحد. طبعا اليهود يوم الأحد ده يوم الناس كل يختلف ما بيعملوا حاجة في يوم الأحد ما كان ماشي حد في يوم الأحد ما في زول بركب مكان ما بركب حتى يوم الأحد في يوم سبت. اوكي ده حاصل من وراء يسوع المسيح يا أستاذ ليه كان زي معلم ليه ما بيختلف يوم الأحد والشعب بتاعنا والتلاميذ بتاعنا ما بيختلف ده قال يا يسوع المسيح قال دائما كده ما حكم لحاجات زي لكن كده دائما بالمصدر للمهمة بتاع الحياة سوريا إسرائيل ولا قوة قيمة للحياة الناس كانوا كذا لأنهم جعانين وكان وولز and David and كان التلاميذ بتوعهم ما هوراس بتوع المساجد بتوع في الهيكل وما سوفك طبعا كانوا أحكم كل المناور اللي كان فيه قال إذا الناس بتدرسوا يا بعض ولكن كان ما قال سيد الأمر هم كان قاعدين يركزوا حياة بتاعهم ممكن يركزوا حياة بتاعهم من جار وده يكرروا بينه يقول لنا بيجي كل ما نعيشه في قوانين أن هو دين الفوق بتاعنا تاني ما تساعد حياة بتاعنا كده نايم لمهمة بتاعت حياة هي حاجة تدعو كده كل مهمة بتاعت حياة عشان كده حتى مساعدة أن نقدم للناس إنسان كان له أدب بتاعه ويتعب يزول لنا الموت والجعل ودينه حقيقي لأن حياة بتاعه مهم وبحكمه بنفسه حاجة لك كمان بتساعد زوجه عشان كده علينا عشان ما ساكن أنت عارف كشف على القانون والصبر بتوجيه بتاعنا في الحياة إحنا بنسأل ربنا الحكمة لأنه كان يقول لنا الحكمة عشان تبقى العين يأتوا يا مهم سوريا مهم على الجسد يا حياة في كل قوانين بتاعنا بتاع الحياة بتاعنا ودام التقديم في حاجات ما تساعد حياة كده نصير بينه كمان دائما من طرف كده كمان ربنا كده ساعد الناس معين أكثر وأكثر من صفاتنا غير من طرف وكده نشوف أسباب ربنا خلق المشاعر بتاعه وعايشين في رسالة بسم الله والابن والروح القدس